This is a very demanding role.
Yes,
How did you prepare for it?
As quickly as I possibly could. I was actually playing an older man and an out-of-shape older man right before I did this movie when I was doing Winning Time, playing Red Auerbach. And so I had 6 weeks to try to turn it around and get myself fit for this. So I was running a lot, staying flexible, working really hard with a trainer, food, eating lean and mean. And but like I was saying to this young lady that the most important thing was that nothing broke, and I was hitting. I hadn't been on a football field in 40 years. And that first couple of times that I ran into guys, holy cow, man, that's not. At 59, that's not something you're used to. You hit the ground, it rattles your cage. So I had to just make sure I was very, like in a full-on sweat and really, warm and ready every time before I started. So there was a lot of prep and a lot of cool down, and then I'd spend a lot of time in ice baths. Cold plunge, I'm telling you, it makes 100 feasible.
Is that what drew you to this film, the physicality?
Part of it, absolutely. Listen, I don't care who you are. If you've ever played, team sports, male, female, I don't care where you're from, whatever sport it is, we all have those memories, right, of being back on the gridiron or the court or wherever, and trying to get that play that we got wrong right, or revisiting the glory days or whatever it is, especially if you're a competitive person, and at a certain age that just ends, So the idea of getting on a football field at 59 was just mind-blowing to me, and the fact that Mike actually did it, it's inspirational. You can draw inspiration from a guy like Mike Flint, just in your own life. And it doesn't mean you have to go and play football. If it means you accomplish something that you always wanted to accomplish and you regret not having gone for it, you might think it's too late. It's not too late.
The scene where you walk out on the field the first time when you're going to see if you can get a chance to try out.
Yeah.
The look on your face and the body, what was going through your mind?
Well, that was very real for me because Rod brought me out there right when at the beginning of the movie when we first started shooting. So that shot is the first time I was on the field. It's the first time I walked out on the field, and it was the first time that I was actually walking on a football field with the idea of playing. And all this rush of memories and, my own experiences came flooding into my heart and my mind. So I'm sure it comes across on the screen because it was right here, Yeah.
Putting on those uniform and the pads and the cleats, did that take you back?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Then I hadn't put on a football uniform in 40 years. I was like, and part of me was all of a sudden got scared to death because I was looking at these 23-year-old studs going, look at this kid. I was like, oh, can I swear? Can I curse? I was like, oh shit, I've made a mistake. I made a big mistake. These kids are going to kill me. But then you bear up to it. You go, let's go. Tom Brady and I are friends, and I wrote him, and I said, Tom, you're no longer the oldest guy on the field. What should I do? And he gave me nothing. He goes, sorry, you're going to have to bleep me again. He said, football's fucking hard. Good luck. I was like, that's it. That's it.
Then there was also the scene in your mom's garage when you and Gail Cronauer, she's so amazing.
Lovely.
She's so amazing. When you find the Bible.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that scene?
Well, Mike, Mike is very devout in his faith, and it's part of his story. It's part of who he is and what has kept him going, and kept him going through this process. And to find out that his father had found faith late in his life, I think was something that meant a great deal to Mike, and helped him even more, and sort of, I think, inspired him to go further. So, as far as preparation's concerned, that's just letting the circumstances of a scene wash over you, and staying true to it, and just having an understanding of it, in your heart, and just being there.
Excellent. How does it feel to have Angel Studios distributing this film?
Well, it was a welcome surprise, because, we've been it's been a difficult time in the industry, and we sort of found each other, let's put it that way. I'm an actor in this, I'm not a producer in this circumstance, so I was in the dark through a lot of it, sort of waiting, what's going to happen, we're with this group now, or no, we're not, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I found out that this was actually happening, I was really happy to hear it, because I thought that they were a perfect marriage with this film in terms of what it represents, the kind of films that they put out. These are family friendly, but universally friendly. It's not just, a lot of times people, sort of equate something that's family friendly with being soft, or somehow unworthy of their viewership, and that's nonsense. These things can be as emotionally potent and entertaining as anything. I've always believed that, and I've always known that there's a huge audience for this picture since I read it. When I read it, I was like, oh, okay, this is a crossover hit. What we call in Hollywood a 4-quadrant hit.
Yes.
It could be. It's really about getting the word out and letting people know, because when people see this and find out about it, they'll come and see it.